بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we're going to have our short reminder after Salatul Asr, which we normally have after Salatul Asr every day here in our masjid, Masjid Alfurqan. And today, inshallah ta'ala, I want to bring to your attention a very beautiful story, hopefully which we will try and reflect upon. And the story goes like this. سأل عالم تلميذه. A great knowledgeable man has asked his student, and he said to him, منذ متى صحبتني? For how long have you been studying under me? So the teacher, the scholar is asking the student, for how long have you been studying under me? And the student has said, منذ ثلاثة وثلاثين سنة. I was your student and studying under you for 33 years. Is that a short time or a long time? A long time of studying. 33 years, he said, I was your student and I was studying under you for 33 years. فقال العالم, the great knowledgeable man said to his student, فماذا تعلمت مني في هذه الفترة? What is it that you have learned from me over this time, over this period of time? فقال التلميذ, the student has said the following. The student has said, I have learned from you only 8 matters. How many matters? Only 8 things. Not more than 8 things. Even though he sat with his teacher and studied with him for 33 years. قال العالم إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. The alim has said, we all belong to Allah and we will go back to him. ذهب عمري معك ولم تتعلم إلا 8 مسائل. He said, my life has gone and I've given you a lot of my time. I've given you 33 years of my life and you have only learned from me 8 things. And the student has said, يا أستاذ لم أتعلم غيرها ولا أحب أن أكذب. Those are the 8 things that I've learned from you and I don't want to lie to you. Wow. فقال الأستاذ هات ما عندك لأسمع. He said to him, like, tell me what you've learned from me then. What are these 8 things that you have learned from me? This is the first one that the student has said. أني نظرت إلى الخلق فرأيت كل واحد يحب محبوبا فإذا ذهب إلى القبر فارقه محبوبه. This is the first thing I've learned from you, he said. I pondered over the creation of Allah, the human beings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have created. فرأيت كل واحد يحب محبوبا. And then I saw every human being loves something dearly, very close to him, something that's very close to him, something that he values a lot and loves it dearly. But فإذا ذهب إلى القبر فارقه محبوبه. But when this person dies and he goes to the grave, that thing that he has loved so much will not go to the grave with him. فجعلت الحسنات محبوبي. He said, what is dear to me, I have taken good deeds as what is dear to me. He said, what is dear to me more than anything else is good deeds. Right now we are fasting. Fasting is an act of good deed. So this good deed, how much do you love it? Remember, the fasting is what is going to go to the grave with you. Remember, the salat that you pray is what is going to go to the grave with you. But if you love money, for example, if you love dunya, will the money and the dunya that you love, will they go to the grave with you? The answer is no. He said, فَجَعَلْتُ الْحَسَنَاتِ مَحْبُوبِي فَإِذَا دَخَلْتُ الْقَبْرِ دَخَلَتْ مَعِي. The reason I love good deeds is, he said, is when I go to the grave, the good deeds will go to the grave with me. That's the first thing I have learned from you, he said to his teacher. And then he said to him, give me the second one. And the student has said, إني نظرت إلى قول الله تعالى وأما من خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى فإن الجنة هي المأوى. He said, I pondered over the following ayah. وأما من خاف مقام ربه. As for the one who fears the moment where he's going to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the one who prevents his soul from following its desires. وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Indeed, فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. His final abode is going to be paradise. And then he said, فَأَجْهَدْتُ نَفْسِي فِي دَفْعِ الْهَوَى حَتَّى اسْتَقَرَّتْ عَلَى طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ. Allahu Akbar. He said, after that, I strove so hard. I have exerted so much pressure on myself to get rid of my desires and fight them off until my soul became content with being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Do you want to know the third lesson that he learned from his teacher? Do you want to know it? Okay. The third one is the following. He said, إِنِّي نَظَرْتُ إِلَى الْخَلْقِ فرأيت أن كل من معه شيء له قيمة حفظه حتى لا يضيع ثم نظرت إلى قول الله تعالى ما عندكم ينفد وما عند الله باق فكلما وقع في يدي شيء ذو قيمة وجهته لله ليحفظه عنده. الله أكبر. The beauty, look at the beauty. Said, I pondered over the khalq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creation, the human beings. فَرَأَيْتُ أَنَّ كُلَّ مَنْ مَعَهُ شَيْءٌ لَهُ قِيمَةٌ. He said, when I looked at the people and pondered over them, I saw anyone who has, if someone possesses anything that has got value in his eyes, what do? They protect that thing. Okay? They make sure that they take care of that thing so they don't lose it. And then he said, ثُمَّ نَظَرْتُ إِلَى قَوْلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And then I've looked at the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ. Whatever that is with you is going to perish. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. But whatever that is with Allah will remain forever. And then he said, whenever I get something that has got value, I made sure that I give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so He takes care of it. Subhanallah. So whenever, imagine now money is something that has got a lot of value. So when we get money, if you give it for the sake of Allah, you are sending that money to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He's the one who's going to take care of it for you. And it will remain forever. The salah that you are praying is something that has got value in your eyes. So you send it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's going to take care of it. Subhanallah. So he said, that is another thing that I have learned from you. And then he said, the fourth one is the following. He said, إِنِّي نَظَرْتُ إِلَى الْخَلْقِ فرأيت أن كل واحد يتباهى بماله أو حسبه أو نسبه ثم نظرت إلى قول الله تعالى إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. He said, when I looked at the people, I kind of like found out that people are bragging about their tribes, that they belong to a particular group. Everybody's like proud of kind of like who they belong to. I belong to that group. I belong to that nationality. I belong to this particular tribe and so forth. And I'm from this lineage. And then ثم نظرت إلى قول الله تعالى. Then I pondered over the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The most noble of you guys in the eyes of Allah are those who have taqwa, those who are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَعَمِلْتُ فِي التَّقْوَى حَتَّى أَكُونَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَرِيمًا. He said, I made sure that I gained taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I worked so hard to be someone who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I become someone who has value in the eyes of Allah, someone who's honorable in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many lessons have we learned out of the 8? 4 of them. The question now is the following. Those 8 lessons, or those 4 lessons that we have mentioned, what we're going to look at right now are what are the practical lessons we can take from these things. Number 1 is the value of lifelong learning. How long was he studying with his teacher? 33 years. Now as a student, when you go to a teacher, your Quran teacher, your, for example, religious studies teacher, when you sit with him for a couple of years, you become tired. You give up. But look at this particular student. He was learning with his teacher for 33 years. Learning is lifelong. It should not be just for a short period of time. Everybody wants to say these days, I want to study like for the next 4 years. I want to study for 3 years. I want to study for 5 years. No. Learning and studying the deen of Allah is lifelong. It's forever. Until you go to the grave. So you can see this student, he was studying with his teacher for 33 years. So what practical lesson we can take from here is what? Our learning has to be lifelong. Don't say, oh, I've been going to Masjid Alfurqan like for 2 years. I had enough of it, you know. No. I've been studying with Sheikh Fulan and Fulan for that long. No. You have to stay maybe for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. If your teacher is still alive and he's there, you have to benefit from him. That's a lifelong. Another one is the importance of having like a spiritual application. You know, this student, he looked into things spiritually. So he didn't just learn facts, because nowadays we love to learn facts. We go to the teacher's lesson, we go to our mashayikh, their lessons, and all we want to learn are just facts. No, you have to look at the spiritual side of things. He said, like, the second thing he learned from him was, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Look at the reflections that we do, the lessons, mashallah, the qasas al-anbiya, the qasas of the Quran, and Sheikh Shaybani's lessons. When you come to, you have to look at the spiritual side of things. Don't just say, oh, I attend that lesson, I go to that lesson, I study this lesson. No. It's about the spiritual side of things. That's another important thing. Also is what? The importance of self-reflection. We have to do self-reflection. Don't just learn things for the sake of learning. Reflect like the student has done. 33 years worth of learning, 8 points. And I've given you how many of them today? And how long did it take him to study those 4? No, if we divide it, I mean like him, that student, how long did it take him to attain? About 16 and a half years. And I have given it to you in 4 minutes or 10 minutes. That's unfair, isn't it? Okay? You need to do your own self-reflection right now. Your teachers that you are learning with right now, whatever they're teaching you, right now you have to say, I need to do self-reflection. Okay? Don't just say, oh, Fajr reflection. No. You have to do your own self-reflection. Very important. The next point, practical one that we can also look is what? The focus on taqwa. This student, what can we learn from him? He focused on the taqwa, the part of the, because this is the most important thing. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. At-taqwa, hahuna, it comes from here. So taqwa is the essence. You know, this is the crunch. Okay? This is what we need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last point I'm going to mention is humility and submission. Look at this student. He didn't say, I've been studying with my teacher for 33 years. What else can he teach me? I'm going to leave him today. I've been studying with him for 2 years. So what else is he going to teach me? No. Look at his humbleness. For 33 years, he said, I only learned 8 things. He didn't say like, I'm a alim. Okay, I've been studying for 33 years. Nowadays, we go to Islamic universities, and we come back and we think that we are the, mashallah, Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Okay, that's how we think. Okay, I'm the Ibn Baz of my time. Okay, because I've studied 4 years in Medina or 5 years in Medina, and then mashallah, I'm alim. Or I've studied few books and I consider myself as someone who's alim. No. Subhanallah. 33 years of learning, still he was a student to his teacher. He said, I have learned only these 8 things. How was that? Do you want to know the next 4? Don't miss the next one. I have given you, subhanallah, I've given you, mashallah, a very special offer. Something that it took for one student to study like for almost 17 years, 16 and a half years, I have given it to you in 10 minutes. So this, do you want another special offer? Don't miss the next one, inshallah ta'ala. When is it going to be the next one? It could be tomorrow Asr, inshallah ta'ala. Hopefully tomorrow Asr. The fiqh lesson, the fiqh of zakah, was that published yet? If it has not been published, we're going to do the fiqh of zakah next Sunday. So inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow, we're going to do the next half. Barakallahu feekum. You want to know the next 4 years? MashaAllah. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.